How do we perceive things? Have you ever thought about that? Good question, right? One would assume we perceive things with our eyes, with our ears, with our senses, right? I mean, let's do a little exercise. Come with me, let's do something. Right, so I want you, wherever you're sitting, wherever you are, I want you to, for a second or for a minute, just indulge me, right? And find something to look at that's not the screen that you're looking at, something else in the room or place where you're sitting, wherever you are. Find something to look at that you can see, that you can identify what it is, right? Look at it. See it. Oh. Coffee cup. Oh, right? Now, listen. What do you hear? Find something, one thing that you can identify, that you can hear, right? And then I want you to touch something. Feel something, touch something, or smell something. Either one of the two, whichever is easiest right now for you. I want you for a second to close your eyes and imagine you had no eyes. Now try and imagine that thing you were looking at and seeing and identifying with your eyes earlier. Try and imagine how would you perceive this thing if you didn't have eyes? I mean, okay, sure, the coffee cup, I would, if I didn't see, I could still pick it up. I could just still touch it, right? What if I couldn't touch things? What if I had no arms or legs or hands to touch with? Oh, shit. Well, you would tell me, well, just, you could still like kind of make echoey sounds, right? Or something, freaking echolocation and hear him. What if you had no ears or kind of, what if you had no sensory, what if you have no senses? What if you had no senses? How would you perceive things? Could you? Imagine yourself, you were a little blob, and this little blob is you, and you know instinctively what you need to survive and to grow. You know how kind of to get to it. You can't really explain to somebody else how you're doing it, but you can kind of navigate yourself, right? In the same way that kind of worked in your mind, I want you now to try and think about time. And how do we perceive time? How do we know it's real? Well, we know it's real because nothing ever stays the same. Everything always changes. Nothing is permanently in a static position. You know, day becomes night, seasons change, hot and cold, etc., right? We can see things are progressing. We can see technology is progressing. We can see everything moving forward. So we know we definitely know that there is this linear progression of time, right? What if that is just our perception of it? What if the way that we perceive time, a linear fashion, is only because the same as with our eyes and our ears and our senses? What if that binds us to a certain understanding and perception of what reality is? I think time is very similar to how we understand language. I think it's the same way our brains learn a language, and the same way a language can change the way you think and change the way your brain processes problems and situations, right? Editing this video, I thought, let me Google so I can at least put a link to the study that I know that was done. So I read some pretty interesting things, and I'm going to leave a few links to a few interesting studies. But the summary basically comes down to, look, your language has to impact the way that you think, because different languages have different words for things and different ways of expressing themselves. There's certain things that one language will have a name for and another language won't. So the language that doesn't have a name for it would obviously not even be able to explain what is this thing. For instance, there's a tribe in Papua New Guinea that has no concept of what time is. They do not understand time as a linear thing. If you ask them, how do you know how old you are? They can't tell you, oh, we're 50 years, or I'm 3 cycles around the sun. No, they can tell you you're in the mid stage of your life, or he's old, or they probably don't even have terms for that. They probably don't even understand that. So, I mean, isn't that such a mindfuck? So I'm going to put some links to some very interesting studies in the description for you guys to go read. I would definitely recommend you go have a look at that. Language can change the way your brain functions. I think the same way, and being bound by time and understanding it as linear, and then maybe finding a different way of understanding time. I think that is also a way that our brains can be programmed to think differently and to evolve, perhaps, right? Because let's go see what does the Merriam-Webster say about what is time. Time can be, it's either just time. Time is a measured or measurable period during which an action, process, or condition exists or continues. Right. I can agree with that. But that kind of means that if we were to be able to see time as a physical dimension, it would be just little blocks of space, right? What if those blocks weren't all in a row like dominoes? What if they were more like a Lego set? What if they were more like a Jenga? Like Jenga. What if? Right? So there's this other whole field of neuroscience that is pretty new, but also not so new, because they started working on these things a very long time ago. You see, that's part of why I say time is a bit of a fucky thing, because so often people realize things and have these epiphanies and discoveries, but our technology is just not where it should be yet, and we just don't have the understanding yet of the things around us to be able to solve these problems and to understand them better, and how to incorporate them into our existence and how to use them to evolve, right? But neuroplasticity is basically it's the science of how our brains are plastic and malleable, and we can change them by changing our habits and what we take in and what we tell ourselves. Many processes, but working with your brain and healing and understanding life around you and becoming more aware. These are all things that encourage your brain to evolve, to think outside of its normal way of thinking. And if we can perhaps change the way we think about things and see things, perhaps it could change our lives and the world. If you enjoyed that small little rant, that was me compressing a discussion on my stream into a small video. I tried to edit the footage, but easier to just re-record as a summary, pretty much. So if you are interested in seeing the full discussion and the live interactions with my followers, my viewers, you can head over to my art account, my alt account, Triz Arts and Crafts. I will put a little video here somewhere, right? And if you are interested in finding out more about how to help me and joining my Discord, you can go to my Patreon. My Patreon does have all my links, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I will also put the links in the description for my socials and for my Patreon and my Discord and my Twitch.